I stumbled upon a viral post. A guy was ranting that his gay roommate kept flirting with him. Every single detail in the post matched my dorm perfectly. I have 3 roommates. So which one of them was secretly venting online? I blinked in surprise and glanced around. All 3 of my roommates were lounging around, eating fried chicken and scrolling on their phones. It was pretty routine for someone to bring food back after class. The fried chicken from our school cafeteria was legendary and always in high demand. Just based on those clues, it could have easily been a coincidence still. I messaged the original poster again. That doesn't really prove your roommate is hitting on you. Maybe he's just a nice guy. Anything else he's done to flirt with you? The poster replied with a shy emoji. I'm too embarrassed to say. He uses the same bottle of body wash and shampoo as I do, and he wear upon me a scarf and slippers. By hand, the onlookers in the comments exploded. Using the same bottle of body wash and shampoo? Doesn't that mean they smell exactly the same? That's so suggestive. Your roommate totally has a crush on you. Roommates are just roommates. They're not supposed to turn into wives. Wait, if your roommate becomes your wife, doesn't that mean he goes from roommate to bedmate? You two would be sharing a bed instead of just a room. So yeah, roommates can only be wives. Wives can only be roommates. I zoomed in on the photos he posted of the scarf and slippers. Lately, I've been obsessed with crocheting. I'd made handmade scarves and slippers for each of my 3 roommates, and the colors and designs were exactly the same as the ones in the pictures. The sky felt like it was crashing down on me. Which of my roommates was it? The same guy who said thanks, Godfather, to my face was now posting online accusing me of trying to seduce him? We used the same body wash because the dorm only had room for 1 bottle. Our tiny private bathroom barely had any space to begin with. There were 4 of us, so we'd agreed to share toiletries to avoid cluttering the place with a dozen containers. Now even that had become so-called evidence of me seducing him, just because I was the one who suggested it. I glanced at my roommates, eyes furtively scanning for clues. Who was the one with this ridiculous seduction delusion? Daniel, who slept in the bed next to mine, was infamous around campus for being cold and sharp-tongued. Everyone who had confessed to him, guys or girls, had all been harshly roasted. He was so handsome he could debut as a model tomorrow, but even so, he'd been voted least dateable student in the law school for 2 years straight. When someone confronted him about it, he directly sent the voting committee a lawyer's letter. I shook my head and mentally crossed him off the list. No way it could be Daniel. I cautiously shifted my gaze to Jasper, who slept across from me. He wore silver-rimmed glasses and came across as cultured and refined. But after spending enough time with him, you'd realize he was secretly vindictive and held grudges. To borrow a term from the web novel world, he was a black-bellied gentleman. Take this for example. One April Fool's Day, Blake had secretly replaced Jasper's glasses with a fake frame that had no lenses. So, during a class presentation, Jasper took revenge by inserting several hilarious photos of Blake into his PowerPoint, like Blake flexing his muscles in pink Hello Kitty boxers, or opening his mouth absurdly wide pretending to swallow his own fist. To this day, those photos still lived on as memes across the campus forums. I had no solid proof Jasper was the poster, but no evidence to rule him out either. I marked him as a maybe. Now, Blake, he was the most suspicious of all. Even though he always claimed to be straight, he was hopelessly obsessed with BL manga and dramas. I had serious doubts he hadn't cooked his brain with them already. My gaze flicked back and forth between Blake and Jasper, but I still couldn't figure it out. Just then, a slender, elegant hand reached into my vision. Daniel placed a box of chocolate on my desk. It's for you, he said. I glanced at the brand and nearly gasped. There was no way I could accept it. It was way too expensive. Sure, I was a cookaholic, but a box of this brand cost over 10,000 yuan. Daniel said casually. It was part of the wedding favors from my cousin's wedding last week. I don't really like sweets. If you won't take it, I'll just have to feed it to the stray dogs on campus. What was this, some kind of high-end poisoning attempt? Blake and Jasper chuckled from the side. Edward, if you don't take it, they said, you're basically aiding and abetting a crime. Warmth spread through my chest. I knew they were joking, just trying to help me accept the chocolate without guilt, though the gossip flames in my heart were burning bright. I didn't take it too seriously. My orientation had already been outed by my scumbag ex-boyfriend on the school forum. I bounced from dorm to dorm, each time driven out by ostracism and bullying. Never lasted more than half a month before being reassigned. But my current roommates were truly good to me. They'd never made a single discriminatory remark. When others mocked me, they stood up for me. I didn't want something so trivial. to affect the harmony we had. But then, the poster's updates started to feel off. A little twisted during PE class. I'd only brought one bottle of mineral water and had shared it with my roommate during our break. I opened my phone and checked the forum. The poster had uploaded a new post. My roommate handed me his water bottle after he drank from it. Does that count as an indirect kiss? I nearly spat out the sip I'd just taken. We were sharing water. Sure, but we hadn't even touched the mouth of the bottle. How was that an indirect kiss? The way the poster cut the context would totally mislead casual readers. Commenters piled on. At first I thought this poster was just a delusional narcissist. But now it's starting to feel real. You're the frog being slowly boiled in warm water. Your roommate's trying to bend you. Gross. If you're really straight, I suggest getting away from that guy ASAP. No boundaries. Who knows what weird stuff he'll try next. The poster replied to someone suggesting the roommate wanted to bend him. Bend me. Like, he wants to date me. I really don't get this stuff. I'm straight. Oh, if he does want to date me, I guess we'd have to move out and get our own place. Any rental recommendations near a university? The comments under the post began to shift direction. Are you sure your roommate is trying to seduce you? Because honestly, it sounds like you're the one desperate to date him, dude. Your roommate never even said he liked you. Why are you already house hunting? Someone even added, I'm the one who just told him to stay away from his roommate. He blocked my main account. That idiot is definitely gay. Probably a full-on delusional case. I gave that last comment an upvote, feeling a shiver run down my spine. The pervert was right beside me, but who exactly was it? I screamed inwardly in silent despair. After gym class, it was mine and Blake's turn to return the rackets to the equipment room. And of course bad luck never misses. We ran into Tom, a former dorm mate who had once bullied me relentlessly. He looked at me and Blake with a sneer. Your new dorm doesn't know Edward's gay. How can you all stand living with someone so disgusting? Aren't you worried he's secretly fantasizing about you? I was used to hearing this kind of filth. I had pushed back before, reported it, even. But nothing ever came of it. People would just say, this kind of thing should be kept under wraps. Why make a scene? You'll only embarrass yourself in the end. So I forced myself to stay calm, pretending the words didn't bother me. But Blake's brows furrowed sharply. He didn't hold back. Stop flattering yourself, he snapped. Take a good look in the mirror. What makes you think a gay guy would be interested in you? Then came the punch. Tom staggered back, rage flaring in his eyes. You're dead, Blake. Just wait. Blake scoffed coldly. I know I'm good looking. I don't need you to tell me. I had to fight the urge to laugh and quickly drag Blake away. If he said one more thing, Tom might actually explode. Tom, humiliated in front of others, refused to let us go. He blocked our path, muscles flexing. He was huge. All lean muscle and brute strength. If it came down to a real fight, Blake and I combined wouldn't stand a chance. Just as Tom raised his fist, Daniel arrived. He rushed forward, grabbed Tom with a flawless takedown, and pinned him with brutal precision. His fist landed blow after blow straight to Tom's face. His tone was cold and dangerous. My roommate isn't someone you can lay a finger on. If Blake and I hadn't held him back, Daniel probably would have sent Tom straight to the hospital. I was so moved by their support, I treated them to dinner afterward. We clinked our sodas together, and I raised my glass. I've been through a lot of discrimination because of my orientation, I said. Thank you for standing up for me today. Thank you for never looking at me differently. I hope the four of us can be brothers for life. We raised our drinks in unison. Jasper sighed regretfully. Too bad I wasn't there. I missed out on the gratitude. His voice sounded guilty. Blake rolled his eyes. You're always lugging that damn camera around. But you missed my moment of glory. You know how awesome my punch looked. Daniel chuckled coldly. If I hadn't arrived in time, your scrawny arms and legs wouldn't have lasted a second. And yet you still had to provoke him. You almost got Edward hurt too. Blake insisted on proving he was a martial arts genius. On the walk back to the dorm, he kept shadowboxing all the way, doing dramatic military-style moves. That night, after washing up, I lay in bed scrolling through my phone and saw a new post. What should I do if my roommate said he wants to be with me forever? The alcohol-induced drowsiness I'd been feeling vanished instantly. My hand trembled as I tapped into the post. Today, my roommate was being bullied, and I stood up for him. The way he looked at me afterward, full of admiration and love. Later, he treated me to dinner, and he said he wanted to be with me forever. Should I accept his confession? He has such fair skin, he's beautiful, he's adorable, and his personality is absolutely perfect. But he's a guy. And I'm straight. Oh, by the way, anyone know which countries allow same-sex marriage? I'll pay for a full guide. The internet had long grown accustomed to the poster's annex. So sweet. This couple is killing me. I'm shipping them. Hard. They're definitely going to end up together. Just wait. Careful, y'all. Don't get too invested. This poster's clearly delusional. Not like delusional. He is delusional. It was all becoming alarmingly clear. I turned slowly and saw Blake sitting on his bed, hugging his phone and giggling like an idiot. You've got to be kidding me. How did this bright, sunny, outgoing guy turn out to be the one with the full-blown TION disorder? And the poster was still posting. If my roommate confesses to me, I think I'll say yes. Can gay guys accept a purely platonic relationship with a straight guy? For several nights in a row, I'd lost sleep, terrified that Blake might crawl into my bed while I was passed out. But fate had a cruel sense of humor. It really did. That afternoon, the sun was shining brightly, so I took my comforter outside to air it out. But while I was in class, a thunderstorm hit out of nowhere. My blanket was soaked. Blake grinned at me, baring his teeth. No big deal. Edward, just squeezing with me for a few nights. The weather's supposed to be sunny the rest of the week. It'll dry fast. I shook my head in a panic. All I wanted was to stay far, far away from this pervert. After some hesitation, I turned to Daniel. Bro, Daniel, can I crash with you for a couple of nights? I swear I don't snore or move around in my sleep. Please. Daniel looked mildly uncomfortable, but in the end he nodded. I understood. Daniel was a rich kid. He probably never shared a bed in his life. And this was a school bunk, barely a meter wide. But Jasper's bed was connected to Blake's. No way I was sleeping over there. I had no choice but to shamelessly squeeze into Daniel's bed, pressing myself against the wall, doing my best to take up as little space as possible. For the next few nights, I barely slept, always on edge, afraid Blake might sneak into my bed. But lying next to Daniel, I finally felt safe. Before long, I drifted into a deep sleep, and subconsciously, I leaned toward the warmth beside me. When I woke the next morning, I was practically draped over Daniel. Face burning, I quickly rolled away and pressed myself against the wall, hoping he hadn't noticed. Still flustered, I opened my phone and saw another update from the poster I followed. The title was a ridiculously long string of exclamation points. I scrolled past full pages of nonsense, until finally some actual words appeared. Emergency. My roommate's blanket got soaked in the rain, so he asked to share my bed. What does that mean? He fell asleep, and maybe I was too slow to hold him or something. But even while sleeping, he kept curling into my arms. He loves me. He's made his feelings so obvious. I can't wait any longer. Tomorrow morning, I'm telling him. I want to be with him too. I was thunderstruck. I understood every word, but my brain refused to process the full meaning. Wait, didn't I just sleep with Daniel last night? Could it be? The poster, the pervert, was Daniel. I hadn't even recovered from the shock when Daniel suddenly leaned close and whispered by my ear, "Good morning." His voice was hoarse, almost scary, but his face was as red as a boiled shrimp. Then he gently kissed the center of my forehead. His smile was shy, almost bashful. "Sorry," he murmured. "I know you like passionate expressions of love, but I still want to take things one step at a time." I stared at him, dumbfounded, completely forgetting how to react. Daniel got up to wash and left the dorm to buy breakfast. When I finally dragged myself out of bed, my toothbrush already had toothpaste on it. He just stood there watching me, smiling. His ears flushed red. I wanted to say something, explain, clarify, anything, but I couldn't find the right moment. Eventually, a friend invited him out, and the intensity of his gaze finally left the room. But just before he walked out the door, he leaned in and kissed the tip of my nose. I jolted. My heart pounded like a drum. With a low voice, Daniel asked, "What do you want to eat tonight? I'll bring something back for you." My throat was dry. "Anything. Up to you." The moment his figure disappeared from view, I buried myself in my blanket and screamed. My voice cracked halfway through. I was a mess, flustered, overwhelmed, completely lost. In a panic, I even posted something of my own. What do I do if my roommate keeps thinking I'm trying to seduce him? I'm gay. He's Schrodinger's straight man. He thinks everything I do is a sign I like him. Now he's convinced we're in a relationship. How do I preserve our precious roommate bond? Comments flooded, and almost immediately. Wait a minute. This sounds familiar. Are you that poor soul living with the delusional poster next door? What do? You just do it. Call it Roommate love. You need to be honest with yourself. Do you actually like him or not? If your roommate is the delusional poster, well, yeah, he's a bit weird, but he clearly loves you. If you like him back, just go for it. If you don't, you better cut it off now. As more comments poured in, the advice became oddly unified. If you don't like him, say it. If you do, then go for it. But did I like him? I was confused too. I truly cherished the rare peace and friendship in the storm, so I'd always kept my distance carefully, never wanting to cross a line. With these heavenly roommates, I always thought I'd done a good job, but ever since I found out Daniel liked me, my heart wouldn't stop racing. Why? The post was getting so much traction. It was about to hit trending. I rushed to delete it. At night, Blake and Jasper messaged the group chat. They were heading to a concert in a neighboring city and wouldn't be back, which meant only Daniel and I would be in the dorm. My palms started to sweat from the sheer nerves. Right on cue, Daniel walked in, carrying my favorite beef bowl in his hands. I still hadn't figured out what to say to him, but since things were already spiraling, might as well eat first. We ate while making awkward small talk. Then it was bedtime again. After my shower, Daniel kept staring at me, puzzled. You usually just wrap yourself in a bathrobe. Why are you fully dressed in pajamas tonight? I gave him a helpless look. To guard against you, bro. But I mumbled something more polite. It's cold. I didn't want to catch a cold. Oh, by the way, I added, Blake said he's not coming back tonight. He told me I can use his bed. Honestly, I'm kinda worried about squeezing in with you, so I think I'll sleep alone tonight. The corners of Daniel's mouth drooped. I pretended not to notice, and just as I was about to climb the ladder to my bunk, he pulled me back into a hug from behind. His voice was raspy. I don't mind squeezing. You're my boyfriend. My heart nearly leapt out of my throat. My brain spun in circles, desperately trying to think of a response, but my throat felt blocked, and no words came out. I just stood there, stiff and silent, letting him hold me. Then, his lips brushed the back of my neck from the roots of my hair to my toes. I went completely numb. Bro, this was too much. I pretended I was too sleepy to think, climbed up the ladder, and dove under the covers. Face hidden, eyes squeezed shut, too tired at night. To sell it even more, I even started fake snoring 10 minutes later. Daniel turned off the lights and got into bed. The dorm room went dark, and just like that, I silently accepted that we were in a relationship. Daniel clung to me like a giant golden retriever. Even after my blanket had dried, he still insisted on sleeping beside me. Worried Blake and Jasper would catch on, I started turning him down with a cold face. But Daniel would sneak into my bed in the middle of the night and slip back into his own. Just before dawn, I was so intoxicated by the sweetness of this secret romance, I was close to losing my mind. Until Cameron showed up just after I'd messaged Daniel to plan our dinner for the evening, with a smile still lingering on my lips. I ran straight into my ex. Cameron. My smile froze instantly. I tried to walk past him without a word, but he stepped forward and blocked my path edward. He said coldly, "We did date. You know, don't you think you're being a little too heartless? Come on, let's talk somewhere quiet," I replied, with ice in my voice. "There's nothing for us to talk about." He pulled out his phone and showed me several photos of me and Daniel kissing. Even though Daniel was only visible from the back or in profile, anyone who knew him would recognize him instantly. My hands and feet turned to ice. Cameron gave me a smug, disgusting little smile. "Now will you talk to me properly?" We ended up in a quiet cafe, sitting in the corner. I lowered my voice, simmering with irritation. "So what? You do realize blackmail is illegal, right?" Cameron shrugged. "I'm not asking for money. So how is it blackmail? Don't think so badly of me, Edward. You blocked all my numbers, ignored every message. This was the only way I could get you to sit down and talk to me. I know I was wrong. Outing you wasn't meant to humiliate you. I just wanted to keep you. I used the wrong method. That's all." His words made me sick. Cameron was a student at a university's Academy of Fine Arts. The environment around him was open and accepting. He never had to hide who he was. But I had been bullied relentlessly back in high school because of my orientation. I hated having my privacy exposed. So, when I found out Cameron had cheated on me, I broke up with him immediately. And in return, he used the threat of outing me to force me to stay. He knew it was my deepest wound. And still, he ripped it open again without hesitation. Now, I had finally come to terms with who I was, but I didn't want Daniel to experience the same pain. the pain of being judged through a warped lens. Cameron saw the hesitation in my eyes and went straight for the kill. I know you're not scared anymore. But is your boyfriend? He pulled out screenshots, Daniel's forum post, and one of my own. From when I had posted for advice. I recognized your account. Your new boyfriend. He's your roommate, right? He said he was straight, even if you turn him, once the novelty wears off. Are you sure he'll still want you? Edward, people like us, we should stick with our own kind. I'm just trying to protect you from getting hurt. He leaned in, his voice low. I'll give you 3 days. Break up with your roommate and get back together with me. If you don't, I'll post everything. Every detail about your relationship. On the forum, I was a mess, anxious, distracted. I completely forgot about dinner with Daniel. Even after I returned to the dorm, I couldn't calm down that night. When Daniel tried to crawl into my bed, I pushed him away. Not tonight, I said quietly. I want to sleep alone. Daniel looked hurt. He returned to his bed silent and sullen. Later that night, as I scrolled through my phone under the covers, I saw a new post from him. It's only been 7 days, 8 hours, and 35 minutes. My boyfriend is already tired of me. What do I do? He's always so gentle. He never says anything harsh. But today, he was cold. It's breaking my heart. The comments were brutal. Strangers on the internet never missed a chance to stir the pot. Maybe he found someone else. It happens. The honeymoon phase doesn't end, it just shifts to someone new. Don't take it personally. Some people just fall out of love. Or maybe he never liked you to begin with. Daniel, unable to take it anymore, started deleting the top comments, one after another. I watched the comment section empty in real time. The heavy knot in my chest suddenly unraveled. I sent him a text, come here. Seconds later, the post updated. My boyfriend just told me to crawl into his bed. Cameron, still obsessively watching the forum, saw that Daniel and I were still sweet as ever. He cornered me again. Edward, he said, face dark. You're really going to throw everything away like this? Fine. I'm giving you one last chance. Do what I say. Or his words froze in his throat. Because I showed him the photo. A photo of him in bed with one of the professors from the fine arts department. I stared at him coldly as the color drained from his face. Cameron, I said, calm and steady, I've had this photo saved since we broke up. I never used it against you because I didn't want to stoop to your level. But if you insist on forcing me into a corner, then I don't mind dragging you down with me. And let's be honest, between the two of us, you're the one who'd get expelled. Cameron's expression twisted. The next second, he dropped to his knees and grabbed my hand, begging, Edward, please, delete the photo. If that gets out, my entire future is ruined. I let out a cold laugh. You think I'm stupid? Even if I deleted it now, you'd never leave me alone. I'll delete it eventually, after you've healed, and if you never show your face in front of me again. The day we graduate, I'll wipe it for good. I mean it, but Cameron was a petty man. He judged others by his own standards, so naturally, he didn't believe me. Instead of threatening me behind the scenes, he started openly chasing me again. He laid out roses and heart shapes on the track field, serenaded me with a guitar under the dorm building. He thought I'd either soften up or get annoyed enough to trade the photo for peace, but his antics drew attention. And soon enough, Daniel found out. I was in an elective class when I heard the news. Daniel had sent Cameron to the hospital. One of the girls who shared the class with me leaned over, whispering gossip. Edward, are you and Daniel together? Now, my heart skipped a beat. I forced a calm expression, trying to mask my panic. Who told you that nonsense? She sent me a video. Daniel said it himself. She whispered. He went to the art department and beat the crap out of Cameron. Told him to stop harassing you. Cameron's in the hospital now. Daniel's probably going to get punished for it. I skipped class immediately and rushed to the hospital. In the corridor, I saw Blake and Jasper sitting beside Daniel. His hand was wrapped in gauze. I ran to him, gently taking his hand. What happened? Did you break your fingers? Daniel looked guilty. I hit the ground hard, he muttered. Skin my knuckles. I ruffled his hair, speaking softly. Wait for me here, okay? I need to talk to Cameron. He grabbed my hand and wouldn't let go, his eyes full of hurt. But I gently pulled free and walked into Cameron's hospital room. His face was bruised purple. One of his front teeth was missing. The moment he saw me, his eyes turned red. Edward, he cried. Look what Daniel did to me. I'm pressing charges. I'm going to get him expelled. I said nothing. Let him shout, let him vent. I waited until he finally calmed down. Then I made my offer. You drop the charges against Daniel, and I'll delete the photo. Deal. Cameron froze. His voice cracked. I'm like this. And the first thing you say isn't even asking if I'm okay. You're protecting him? You think I chased you just to get that photo deleted? I still love you. I want you back. I frowned. The word love coming from him made my stomach turn. If you insist on being difficult, I said, Daniel might get punished, but trust me, your punishment will be worse. I turned to leave. Cameron called after me through gritted teeth. Fine. I won't press charges, but you have to delete the photo in front of me. I waved him off. When you've healed completely, I'll do it. As I stepped out of the hospital room, I spotted Daniel crouched outside, eavesdropping. He grinned ear to ear, flashing all his teeth. If he had a tail, I was sure it'd be spinning like a propeller. I gave him a light tap on the head, my tone helpless, but my eyes couldn't help curling into a smile. Let's go. You little troublemaker. Back at the dorm, the first thing I did was open the forum. Unsurprisingly, the hottest trending post was about the gossip between Daniel and me. As one of the main characters in this mess, I had zero interest in reading rumors about myself, so I clicked directly into the account I followed. As expected, Daniel had posted again. My boyfriend loves me so much, what do I do? His scummy ex keeps hovering around like a fly, so I went and beat him up. When my boyfriend arrived, the first thing he did was tell that scumbag to drop the charges. He didn't even ask about his injuries. His eyes, his heart, they're all filled with me. The silly idiot. Everything that happened between him and Cameron today had already caused a stir on campus. Posting something like this now was basically just outing himself. The comments were full of people trying to decode clues. No way. Is this poster the sharp-tongued guy from law school? I read all their posts. I'm addicted. They're so sweet I'm gonna die. Who even voted him least dateable student? Clearly. He's the type who goes full lovesick puppy once he's in a relationship. Daniel, of course, was still pretending. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not Daniel. But hey, anyone know how to cheer up a boyfriend when he's mad? Seeing Daniel still clutching his phone, I panicked, worried he might post something even more outrageous. I marched over and snatched the phone from his hands. You're injured, and you're still messing around online. Daniel pulled me into a tight hug, arms wrapped around my waist. I was still a little annoyed, so I didn't respond. Instead, I grabbed my clothes and headed to the bathroom for a shower. I didn't take it too seriously. In a relationship, sometimes you just had to let things go. If you nitpicked every little detail, love would be the first thing to wear thin in my heart. I quietly turned the page and gave myself fully to this new chapter of love and life. Even though I deleted the photo of Cameron, his affair with the professor still got exposed. The professor was fired. Cameron was expelled. As for Daniel and me, our relationship didn't draw strange looks at all. If anything, our roommates went out of their way to give us space, choosing to game in private booths, at internet cafes rather than in the dorm. I didn't want our relationship to affect their lives, so I brought up the idea of renting a place off campus, but Daniel shyly pulled out a set of keys. We rented an apartment the day we started dating. That night, we dragged our suitcases to our new home. The moment I opened the door, a soft, warm glow bathed the room. A checkered blanket, just the kind I liked, was draped over the couch. Several little succulents lined the balcony. Even the toothbrush cups on the sink were in matching pairs. Daniel scratched his head, grinning. I didn't have time to ask what you like, so I just guessed. I laughed and threw myself into his arms. Nose full of laundry detergent and sunshine. Just like that, 3 years passed. One quiet weekend afternoon, we hung our wedding photo on the most prominent wall in our living room. In the frame, 2 young men smiled with their eyes crinkling at the corners, faces full of sweetness, and hearts full of forever.